It's week 3. Welcome to the shit show. My name's Brian Andrew. I'm here with Steven Galindo, Casual Lex, and we have a special guest today, the Chode.
Hello, guys.
That was very chody. So the reason why it's the shit show is because a day ago, there was a special trade that happened between the 3-for-1 special and the commissioner. What is the trade, Steven?
So, if my sources are correct, we have Lindsey from the Broncos going to the commish for Powell from the Jets and Tyler Lockett. From what I heard, Tyler Lockett held a special place in Eddie's heart. So I'm a little surprised about this trade.
So Adam Schefter, also known as Blex in the Garage League, broke the trade because he got the email, screenshotted it to us.
With like half the information missing?
Yeah, half the information. I didn't even know it was a trade. I thought he was just sending
It hadn't even gone through yet.
So I clicked the picture, and then I looked at the trade. I didn't even look at who sent it to who. I was like, Lindsey for Lockett and Bilal Powell. I was like, huh? Because, first of all, Lindsey, arguably right now, could be the number 1 back in Denver. Or he could not be by the end of the season. But as of right now, I would say he's basically the number 1 back in Denver.
I still think it's running back by committee. It's only 2 games in. Coaches said they're taking the hot hand approach. So
and right now he's the hot hand, so I would say he's the number 1.
He's the hot hand. But I don't think it lasts all season long.
I don't think so either.
But then again, Eddie just needs a temporary fix for Le'Veon Bell. So
yeah, exactly. But he gives up Tyler Lockett and Bilal Powell, who, from Mike G's perspective,
Mike V.
Our future.
It's weird because I heard. That's why I Jim Halpered myself right now because I said G, but I totally was thinking V. All right, so Mike V, 3-for-1 special. He has DeAndre Hopkins, and I believe he has another really good one. He has Keenan Allen, I believe.
Yeah, he has Keenan Allen and DeAndre Hopkins.
So I don't know where Tyler Lockett fits. Like, I guess he's a decent flex, but he was having running back problems himself, and Bilal Powell is not.
Beatboxing over there?
So that sounded like Blex right now. Bilal Powell is not a solution, right? Because Isaiah Crowell is actually taking up most of those snaps too.
I totally agree with you. Let's actually get Adam Schefter, Blex, on the phone here.
Okay, because I want to hear his thoughts. He's the one who broke the news to the group, to the Garage League today.
Hello.
Blex, you are live here on the Garage League podcast. How's it going?
How's it going, Blex?
How's it going, big man?
Hey.
So we're sitting here and we're talking about today's trade and how you Adam Schefter this trade before it even went through. We want to know what your source was and how you found out about the trade.
So practically I found out about the trade via the activity bar on the app itself. I was trying to pick up players, trying to see who's dropping who and what's being added and stuff like that. I found out about the trade and stuff like that, and seriously, one of those like 2-for-1 specials, and kind of just thinking about it, see that philosophy that Steven Galindo carries about every player that Eddie trades next week tears his ACL.
And you know what? 2 years ago, he traded me. I lost the guy. I forgot who it was. Last year, Brian traded for Dalvin Cook. He goes down with a torn ACL,
and he hasn't even recovered really since then because
he
he's
has
not
not
starting that year off this great. What?
Yeah, so like I said, something to look forward to on Sunday. See if Lockett or Powell would turn ACL this upcoming Sunday.
I really hope you're coming up in the mic, Blex, or this is a wasted segment. But it's not our fault if you don't.
Well, what?
What? No, don't worry about it. Hey, turn it up, Steven, if you can, on your side. It's as high as it goes. You're just a really low-speaking person, Blex.
No, you guys just sound fartish.
Hey, don't worry about us. Right? So, how do you feel about your team right now? Because
what is your record right now?
I'm 0-2. Just like a 3-for-1
but
special.
you didn't have a terrible first 2 weeks, and I know Julio Jones is doing all right for you, and you've had the worst draft, but you don't have the worst team. So how do you feel right now?
I feel like my draft strategy was read and it went to complete shit that on draft day itself. It kind of sucks to know that I'm 0-2 and that I don't have any solid running backs other than Fournette itself. But other than that, it kind of feels better to know that my team's doing better than Kellen's team. That's always a plus on that end. But
is there some sort of rivalry between you and Kellen?
no, it's just I kind of heard Kellen's comment on draft day saying that my team was probably one of the worst teams on the draft board. And I overheard that. I think it was telling Eddie or something like that. And I was like, all right, cool. I could agree with them, whatever. But to see him do far worse than I am doing, it's kind of satisfying.
That is a little rude because I think we all were saying that you had a bad draft, but we were saying it to your face at least.
no, yeah, definitely. But like I said, C.J. Anderson, 6th round, seriously, that's gonna bother the players and stuff like that. It still haunts me at night, but I don't know, it's just something about Kellen not talking at the draft, stuff like that. It was kind of a scary moment. I thought he had a good team and stuff like that. So I think I play him week 9 or week 10. But
so when you do play him week 9 or week 10, who wins?
I would have to see. I would say I would win, but it would have to be a match to be predicted in a league manager's note. It's sad. I've been in the league for about 2 years. Well, obviously 2 years, but not once have I been mentioned in league's manager's note as a potential exciting matchup.
Really?
Really? We're going to have to do some background investigating on that one.
I may be wrong. I may be wrong. I may got to mention, maybe once or twice. But I feel there's been games where I've blown people out of the water. Last year, I think I blew Joe out by 80 points or something like that. But it's just one of those things oh, man.
You blew out Joe so bad that he didn't come back this year. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good that I blew him out so far out of the water. He's not back, and he became such a Christian. He became a police officer. So it's just one of those things where it's oh, man. I felt bad for destroying his life like that, but I look forward to doing the same thing with Kellen week 10 or week 9, whichever week it is.
Well, Blex, you're an interesting person because I would say you're one of the most humble people in our league because every time I ask you something like that, you're always like, hey, I'm just trying to make the playoffs, I'm just trying to do this, or I'm just trying to make it on the league manager note. Well, I feel like crap last week because I lost, even though I played really well. And if I make the playoffs, I feel like that's not good enough. So I really appreciate how humble you are, Blex. This league needs it.
It's probably one of those things where you have to accept your fate and know that you drafted such a shitty team. In my case, it's kind of it's just I have expectations. Hopefully, I can have an Anthony run from 2 years ago where I went 0-2 at the beginning of the season and he just came back and turned it up. But only time can tell with how bad the hurricane would take Cam Newton out and stuff like that. And there's a lot of things that go into it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is.
So who do you play this week?
I play the controversial winner of last year, I would say.
Oh, you're playing auto draft this week?
Yeah. So pretty much Mr. O's second team.
Mr. O's second team.
It was weird that they didn't sit next to each other in the draft.
But it was funny because they just kept talking to each other hey, and they were probably texting on the side.
Hey, tell them who you met.
Hey, tell them who you met. Mr. O, all due respect, stuff like that. Obviously, I think we're all upset in the league that someone who wasn't at the draft last year won the league, and it was oh man.
That's the controversy, and that'll go down in history, and it sets a precedent because now we'll make sure that people actually show up for the draft.
Yeah.
I have a question for Blex's matchup this week.
Casual Lex.
Hey, Blex, are you gonna win this matchup? Así como Kobe?
Así como Kobe is a philosophy that was taken in this past year. Definitely will win Así como Kobe this upcoming week. It's just a matter of getting Fournette to get a new fucking hamstring by Sunday.
Well, send him over to Hamstrings R Us and patch him up.
If I could give him my hamstrings so he could play for me and have a piece then I would.
We all feel that way.
It's come on, guy. You're getting paid millions of dollars. How bad can your hamstring fucking be if you're, it's been 2 weeks now. Sack the fuck up and get out there and give me points.
You know what? If the Jaguars were not this good and they were just hoping to get a wild card spot, Fournette would be on the field.
Definitely.
But I think since they feel like they could still win the division without him, they're going to just let him sit on the bench until he feels ready.
What I really enjoyed about this week's manager note is that Eddie gave me a shout out about Keelan Cole. Because at the beginning of the season or before the season, and we were doing mock drafts, I was picking up Keelan Cole left and right, and he was just dogging me for it, saying who the fuck is this guy? But now he sees the importance of the Cole. Same thing with you, where he dogged you for picking up or for going to pick up Fitzpatrick. And then you wake up this morning and it shows Commissioner picked up Fitzpatrick. So
exactly, I remember that day. It was just like he was just talking all this smack, saying, "Oh, I bet you Alex is gonna pick up Fitzpatrick after week 1." And I said, "Nah, I don't need to go pick up another quarterback. I think I have a decent quarterback or whatever." And I wake up this morning, on the shedder for work, and I'm looking through the activity, and I see the Commissioner picked them up. And so that's so funny. Anyways, on another note, I remember when Rex Burkhead seemed to be a potential candidate of trade of mine for Eddie and stuff like that. And to see that Rex Burkhead has been complete garbage the last 2 weeks, I probably should have gone through with the trade. But it is what it is, right?
Well, they say hindsight is 20/20, so
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, I wouldn't worry about that because Eddie will send you a bad deal eventually. The Chode. How do you feel about Julio Jones?
How do I feel about Julio Jones?
I'm sorry, the Chode's here. My bad. You don't know the Chode is here.
Julio Jones. I don't know. That guy hasn't got a touchdown, but he's putting up points. Like I said before, I think.
Anybody can put up points in PPR.
Okay, so before we continue, my thing about PPR isn't necessarily...
Okay, wait. Before we get into this, disclaimer to Ivan. Close your ears.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get into about 30 seconds of PPR right now.
My thing about the PPR isn't necessarily that we have PPR. It's that we had a vote on a keeper league, but we never got a vote on PPR. And I know we'd probably still lose the vote. We would still have PPR because most people like it.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why we didn't vote on PPR, but we had to vote on a keeper league.
Right, I agree with Brian. I think that's what my real saltiness comes from, is not the actual PPR itself, but the fact that we didn't get to vote on it as a league.
Yeah.
You know what? That's totally understandable. I totally agree with that. I remember it's just like, PPR new thing, and honestly, being like a third year and still learning from the game, learning from the league itself, just like what the fuck is PPR? I thought it was like some other like decision player that was popping up and stuff like that. So other than that, I had to go to the good old Steven Galindo and have him clarify to me what PPR was. But I can definitely see you guys' frustrations on how come we didn't get to vote on PPR, but we had to vote on the keeper league. How come both things couldn't be voted on? But honestly, in all truth, in all honesty, PPR has helped me with Julio Jones and I think John Brown as well. But I'm still taking L's with PPR, so there's no real benefit to it.
And some advice, I would stay on the John Brown train because I think John Brown's going to get a lot of PPR points for you in Baltimore.
Definitely agree with you. All right, before you leave us here, if you can give one piece of advice to the league, what is your advice right now going into week 3?
One piece of advice going into week 3. That's interesting. It's kind of hard to be positive in a negative light, especially when you're down 0-2 in the league and stuff like that. But that's let's see here. Piece of advice. Try to win every game. I see going Kobe. That's it.
All right.
So Mama mentality all the way.
Hey.
Mama mentality is gonna get you further in life than just having I'll do it tomorrow type of thing.
Hey, I started 0-2 last season, and my season ended up pretty okay. So I think your team's good enough. You just need to find those waiver wire sleeper picks.
Yeah, actually, speaking of sleeper picks, I'm just gonna go ahead and give a shout out that I do have a tight end on my bench that might be a sleeper. So just to shout out anyone that wants to trade a running back for a tight end, or a decent tight end, I should say.
Who's this
Just go ahead and shoot my way. And just want to give a quick shout out to Ivan. I did see a trade proposal earlier today. I was going to get back to it, but he did cancel it. So, like I said, just a shout out to Ivan, and we'll be in conversation soon.
Well,
Awesome.
if Royce Freeman's still sharing carries of Lindsey, then I'll be in contact with you.
Now you can keep Royce Freeman.
All right. All right. Well, that's that then. Come on, man.
We're just trying to figure out who your tight end on the bench is right now.
I just need a running back whose hamstrings are stronger than people's forehead and stuff like that.
It's just
Who's your tight end on the bench?
Disley.
Yeah. You said you had.
Oh, is it Will Disley?
Yeah.
Oh, Will Disley, ladies. You shouldn't have said that. Brian totally hates any player on the Seahawks, so he's gonna totally shut that shit down real quick.
You don't offer me that piece of shit, all right? He's a blocking tight end, anyways.
You might have to do something, but.
All right, man. Thank you.
My team's complete. I mean, I just looked at it and I'm just like, holy shit! Like, how the fuck? I mean, Robbie Anderson, for Christ's sake, like, they should just arrest him already.
Hey, you know what? I agree. Get it over with so you can maybe get him back.
He's not clean up numbers. On the other note, Will Fuller, who I totally passed up, who I could have got instead of C.J. Anderson, puts up 22 points last week.
Yep, I told you pick him up, but
I offered you Will Fuller. I offered you Will Fuller last week. So, and he's still on the trade block technically. So, but you got to offer me something beautiful.
What if he offered you Bilal Powell and Tyler Lockett?
No, hell no. First of all, I can't take a Seahawk because I'm trying to make it into Hangman. All right, man, we're gonna let you go.
All right, well, nice talking to y'all. So.
All right, appreciate it.
You're always welcome on the podcast.
We need to get you here live next time.
Yeah, hopefully next time I can sit there so I can muff on the mic.
All right.
Later, man.
All right. See you later.
See you later.
All
right, so Blex thought I was talking about him, but the Chode.
The Chode.
Your thoughts on Julio Jones not getting in the end zone?
I don't know.
Well, let's take it back a notch here. Do you know who the Atlanta Falcons are?
The Atlanta Falcons.
The Atlanta Falcons.
The Atlantic Falcons.
That is the team that wears red.
Perfect. Good.
Okay.
Hey, so
Good
job.
Can you name a player on the Atlanta Falcons?
No, I cannot.
Okay.
So I named you one for you. It's the whole,
I named you one for you.
His name's Julio Jones.
Julio Jones.
Julio.
Damn. We're all having strokes, my guy.
Dude, I'm stroking hard.
I do not know what is going on today. Nobody can pronounce names.
I stroke hard from time to time too.
So Julio Jones, probably a top 5 wide receiver in the league, right?
Yeah,
Definitely.
He's usually picked in the first round, early second.
He just has trouble finding the end zone.
Which I would say has something to do more so with the offense than it has. Even though I think Sarkisian's a really good offensive coordinator, so I don't know what the hell the problem is.
It's Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan's got like these, I don't know, flubber arms. He's the biggest naff on the planet, dude. That guy.
Can you explain what a naff is? Because I feel like people don't know what a naff is.
A naff is a non-athletic fuck. So because he doesn't even get sacked, he just lays down sometimes.
He does. He gets tapped and then he'll just fall to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely agree.
So
what is your advice for Julio Jones to get into the end zone?
Especially because right now Chode is wearing top of the line, dragging your feet out of the end zone shoes right now.
He just made the most fire catch of 2018.
Yeah,
if you were here to see the tip of his shoes, he has been practicing.
Put it as a still for the video.
Yeah, this is gonna be the still for the video.
He has been practicing toe taps all day long. Get a nice close up of that. He's tying his shoe now.
All right.
It's lit.
So if anyone knows anything about dragging your foot to make sure you get it inbounds when you make a spectacular catch in the end zone, it's the Chode. So what's your advice for Julio Jones?
My advice is never give up.
All right, John Cena, ladies and gentlemen.
Well done.
All right. So the next topic I'd like to get into, because this was originally going to be the title of the video, was the Josh Gordon trade.
Before the shit show hit.
So we're going to have plenty of more shit shows. We might have week 4 of the shit show next
I might
week.
be a part of the shit show. Who knows?
Yeah. So I'm not going to lie. I make pretty bad trades too. So, but getting into the next topic, Josh Gordon. Do you think the impact?
Well, like, real quick, back on the shit show.
Okay.
You don't have running backs. You need a running back. Why do you trade a really good running back that's heating up and
For who's you can make the case they're both in committees, Lindsay and Bilal.
Powell, yeah.
But one is clearly in a committee and will always be in a committee, whereas Lindsay has an opportunity to actually maybe take the number one spot if he wants it.
Right.
So, and they're giving him the ball more. So I don't understand the trade, and I don't understand why when you have DeAndre Hopkins and Keenan Allen, why you need Lockett. I understand if you need that flex spot, but Lindsay could have filled that flex spot. I don't understand. Go to Mike V. It's the 3-for-1 special. Let's break down this team right now, and then we'll break down Eddie's team and see. Because I think Eddie's just holding on to Lindsay. I bet you he may play him while he's waiting on Le'Veon Bell, but I don't really think he plans to use him all season unless he does really well. So, Mike V, I believe Mike V.
So Mike V, he's got Deshaun Watson, James White.
And he didn't start Deshaun Watson last week.
He has Lindsay for now, Marshawn Lynch, Hopkins, Allen, Ertz, Allen, Baltimore. And what is it? Javorius? Yeah, Buck Allen. I'll just say Buck Allen. He has the Broncos defense, and then he has Chris Boswell. And then on his bench, he has Ajayi, my homie Garcone, Crowder, an old man, Jordy Nelson, Jimmy the Poon Slayer, Garoppolo, and then the controversial but I think acceptable Redskins. So
Redskins defense?
Yeah, Redskins defense.
Well, it's because he has the Broncos defense, and the Broncos defense this isn't 2014 anymore.
Right. But again, I think his move is questionable.
Okay.
Like you said.
Well, let's look at his flex people. So he has Buck Allen and
Buck Allen and Marshawn Lynch
as his flex.
Mm-hmm.
Who's his two starting running backs?
James White, and then it most likely I'm assuming is going to be Powell.
Okay, so who's the other one without? Oh, because right now it's Lindsay, right?
Right.
So James White, I don't think will be starting, or he should be starting. How did James White do in week 1 and 2? I doubt it's.
James White put up 13 points in week 1, 11 in week 2.
So those are solid numbers, but I still wouldn't rely on James White.
Well, you forget it's PPR, so.
Yeah.
Now he's getting a half point for a 0 gain. So.
Well, he's getting a half point just for being part of Belichick's offense.
So, and the commissioner here, he's got. This is great. He's got Fitzpatrick. He's got Jamal Williams. He's gonna have Lindsay instead of Powell. He's got Emmanuel Sanders, Tyreek Hill, Anunwa, Gronk, Aguilar, the Eagles defense, and then Gostkowski.
I feel like the commish has a very black and white team where it's some weeks they're going to be like putting up the highest amount of points, and in some weeks they're just not going to show up. Like Tyreek Hill, like he'll have weeks where he puts up the 40 points, and then he'll have weeks where he only gets like 5 points. So
I don't think he's going to get only 5 points just due to the PPR
how
aspect.
did Tyreek Hill do last week?
Last week he did pretty well. He got 17.5 points.
Well, that's because Patrick Mahomes put up 6 touchdowns. I don't know if he's going to keep that up all season, but I would say the Chiefs right now have the best offense.
I'm taking your lack of faith disturbing right now.
I feel
in the Chiefs' offense.
The Chiefs have the best offense in the AFC West, possibly the whole AFC.
Yeah.
But do you think it's going to be enough for them to have a decent run?
They're going to need to put up some defensive stops.
Yes. Whereas I feel like the Chargers are going to figure it out. But the thing is, the
Chargers have not beat the Chiefs since 2013. I'm just going to leave that there for you.
You got the stats on deck, huh? So, I don't know. Tyreek Hill, I think it's because I've had Tyreek Hill the last 2 seasons.
Call me the Black Matthew Berry.
Well, when Patrick Mahomes is in the shotgun on 3 different snaps.
Anyways, to end the shit show segment, random trade. I don't see where it's going.
The funny thing is, it's not going to be the worst trade of the season.
It won't be the worst trade of the season.
This is just setting the bar now. And
the bar always gets topped.
Now the commish is in a situation where he has Lindsay, and I have Royce Freeman. So, do I get shitty, or does the commish get shitty? Maybe we just let them have Lindsey and I have Freeman, and we just let it be. But there's an opportunity for us to get shitty.
All right, let's end that there.
All right, Josh Gordon.
Yes. I was so excited when I heard the news that Josh Gordon was going to be released by the Browns because anything that happens to Ivan makes me happy. Whether it's... Well, no, I take that back. It's got to be either neutral or negative.
It's funny. So I'm not going to say I have...
And not to Ivan personally because I love Ivan as a person.
Gonna...
But to his team. Don't get it twisted. To his fantasy team because him and I have developed this rivalry the past 2 years. In the first 2 years of the league, I had no beef with Ivan, and I don't know when it began, but now I want to blow him out the water.
Let me put this in perspective.
Put it in perspective, Brian.
There is the Red Sox-Yankees rivalry, obviously, with you and the commish, right?
Right.
But then there's that circle of top-tier fantasy people, and then there's always someone who gets up there, like Stephen O made it up last year because of the auto draft, and then I know certain players like Mike O was really good 2 seasons ago. So certain people get up into that.
I
mix.
think Mike O is the only player in the league to come in last place twice.
But I'm going to put this in perspective: is now there's this little circle of people who are always on top, and it's me, you, and the commish, and Ivan is in that mix.
Definitely in that mix.
So we're all. I would say we in terms of drafting and in terms of playing well, we might not always get the top 4 positions in the standings, but I would say us 4 are considerably the favorites, usually going into it every year, and that kind of builds a rivalry amongst itself. It's kind of like if you and the commish is USC and UCLA,
right.
Then you and Ivan would be USC and Notre Dame kind of thing, and
right.
so on and so forth. And that's why I feel like me and Ivan is that secondary rivalry, even though I think we've only played once a year for the last year or so. But I feel like we're that secondary rivalry just because we talk a lot of shit to each other, and then we flip flop it because every time me and the commish play, it's always kind of for first place sometimes. So.
Right.
That's why I always feel like we're a mixture of the same rivalry, even though you and the commish are the main rivalry.
Right, yeah, and it's going to be some sort of mixture of us 4, I believe, this season fighting for a playoff spot.
And then, like I said, there's always somebody else who kind of gets in there who's different. This year it's going to be Max, I think.
I am totally agreeing with you. I was about to bring that point up. I'm on the Max train.
I'm on the Max train, too.
Choo-choo.
I obviously had to lose to him. I'm glad it's over. I do play him again in the final week. But this proves how good Max's team is. Because I put up 136 on him this week.
Yeah.
And he just ran away like I was nothing. He probably didn't have to check his team after the 1 p.m. games.
I think he set his lineup on Wednesday, and he didn't even look at it again until Tuesday.
He doesn't have to. So. Hopefully the bye weeks kind of humanizes him a little bit. You know what I mean? Because right now he's playing godly. And anyone who plays Max, I'm scared. The matchup I'm looking forward to when they finally play is Max versus Daniel, because they put up a lot of points. And I want to see who kind of outscores the other.
Yeah, we're just waiting for injuries right now at this point.
But yeah, so Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon, right. Ivan, Josh Gordon. I'm sure Ivan is very happy right now.
But the thing is, Edelman's coming back eventually. Because keep in mind, do you think Josh Gordon's worth playing this week? I wouldn't play him yet.
Yeah, I mean,
unless you really don't have a good.
It's flex. A high risk, high reward.
Because I'd play him maybe out of flex, but I wouldn't necessarily trust him over someone who's going to get more volume, who's been in an offense since week 1. So, but he has a chance to be the new Randy Moss of the.
That's exactly what I was going to say. He has the Randy Moss attributes. He has a great. Obviously,
we're acting like we talked about this stuff beforehand.
we don't. I'm just glad we're on the same page here. That's why we're the podcast buddies here.
And the 2-time Ontario League champions.
2-time Ontario League champions, baby. So he improves on offense. He improves on a quarterback. He's got the skill set.
Stays out of trouble, which in that system he should, for at least this year. In the offseason, maybe he'll do something stupid, but as long as he's in the
he's been working on his toe taps with the Chode during the offseason. So
don't be scared to rip your shoes.
So I think long term this is gonna work out for the better. I think Hogan kind of moves to the slot position. I think he's actually Hogan.
I think Edelman moves to the slot when he comes back.
Okay, and you think Hogan's gonna be on the outside with
Yeah,
Gordon?
I think Edelman he was working out of the slot a lot. So
Do you think the Patriots?
Eddie's probably really mad right now because I don't know that because Eddie's a Patriots fan. So one year Eddie was a Cowboys fan who had a Cowboy sweater, and the next year he was a Patriots fan. So, but he's been a Patriots fan since. So,
Damn.
so that's good.
Cowboys sweater.
Yeah, dude, is there enough room on the bandwagon? Or?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but that's 3 receivers, including Gronk. So I don't know if the ball's gonna go around to everybody.
Well, you know what? If Patrick Mahomes can make it work in Kansas City with all the weapons they have, I think Tom Brady, is gonna have fun out there.
All right. Well, I think it's gonna work out long term, but I wouldn't start him this week.
Right.
But Fitzmagic.
You start Fitzmagic this week?
I would start Fitzmagic this week. It depends. Like if you have Aaron Rodgers, then I wouldn't. But if you
even on a bum knee.
Even on a bum knee, I would still take Aaron Rodgers. Who do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play?
So you're taking Fitzpatrick at home against Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Well, the Steelers just got lit up by a rookie, so.
Yeah, I like Fitzmagic. But the thing is, if he has an average game, does Winston come in the following week?
I don't think he's going to have an average game.
Okay, even if he puts up
hypothetically, if he has
he has 3 touchdowns, fantasy-wise, he gives you 20 points. Do you think the Buccaneers put Winston in?
If Fitzmagic comes in,
the franchise quarterback.
If Fitzmagic comes in and he's hot and he's continuing this hot play, you do not put Jameis Winston in. You keep the ball rolling with your hot
What
hits.
if Fitzmagic has a terrible game, but the Bucs still win? Do you think you still go
I think then it's a little easier to explain your choice at quarterback.
And you go Winston?
But if Fitzmagic is throwing... I think Eddie put in the league manager note that Fitzmagic has thrown 4 or 5 touchdown passes to Deshaun Jackson, and Jameis Winston has only thrown 1. So...
So let me ask you this hypothetical. Fitzmagic has an amazing game, but the Bucs lose, and he has a terrible game, and the Bucs win. Which one is more likely to have Winston start next week?
I think it's win and mediocrity.
Mediocrity.
God, I'm having a stroke now too. If Fitzmagic, if they barely win and he plays average, then they have a reason to put in Jameis Winston. If they lose, close, obviously if they get blown out, then that's an easy choice. But if they lose close, and he's putting up, his 300+ yards, a touchdown or 2, I don't see why you'd want to switch up.
I would say even if I was the coach, which obviously I should be.
Let me ask you this question.
Okay.
Oh man, this is a bad question. Would you be okay to be Jameis Winston's Uber driver?
Whoa.
Actually, I would love it because then I could tell the story of how he grew up me the next day. But
I totally didn't hit the punchline there. But.
And then I would start Fitzmagic at quarterback. I'd tell him, hey, Winston's still groping. I need we should start Fitzmagic because even if I was the coach, if Fitzmagic had an average game and they lost, it's just based off the first 2 games and what he's shown with his offense, I would clearly say that the offense works better with Fitzmagic.
It does.
And they should continue Fitzmagic until they feel like, you know what, it's not going anywhere. Let's put Winston back in. Because I
think Winston has lost this offense since like last year.
He's good, but I wouldn't say he was so much better.
He is not good. He is not good.
I think he's better than Mariota.
Okay, maybe he's better than Mariota.
That's a debate. We'd have to look at the stats.
It's debatable.
I just say Mariota. He's one of those.
It's because you're not into the flying Hawaiian, or
I hate the University of Oregon more than probably a lot of things in life, and that piece of shit had to run all over the whole Pac-12 for like 4 years. So you know what? If he wants to go to hell, that's his problem. But
whoa.
I don't know. That's just the way heaven works.
So Max, you're gonna have to let us know. Does Jameis Winston get his spot back?
Our Tampa Bay Bucs insider is Max, and we need him to let us know. Winston Fitzmagic week 4.
Definitely.
Any other thoughts before we go?
No. Well, I mean, we're not signing off yet, right? We're gonna do our matchups real quick. The Chode. Quick question for you.
What's up?
Who wins the league this year?
Blacks.
There you go.
Sick.
Blacks. All right. So the Chode thinks that Blex is going to win this year.
Should we start off with Blex then?
Let's start off with Blex in our matchups here.
So it's Blex, I am Cornholio, versus Breeze in the Trap, Stephen O, the auto draft. So the key matchups here, I would have to say, is Cam Newton versus Drew Brees. Because I feel like either one of them could put up 20 points, and sometimes they'll have an off game too, where they put up like 10. But then Stephen O has Adrian Peterson, James Conner, which I think he's going to win the running back matchup, unless Leonard Fournette on Blex's team comes up really huge.
Well, you know what? He's put up, I think, 90 or more yards the last two meetings against Tennessee. So his rookie season. So.
And I think Blex takes the wide receivers matchup. And so who do you think is going to take this one?
I think this is the week where Cornholio gets his first dub.
Yeah, I'm on the Blex train. I think choo-choo. I think Blex
his story and his upcoming really touched my heart earlier, and so
yeah.
I'm taking Blex.
And he's really humble. He just wants to make the league manager now. Certain things we take for granted.
Right.
Alright, so I say we go to Mike V. I feel like we've been picking on Mike V. I still personally don't know Mike V that well.
I'm going to pick on Mike V a little more here. He's going to lose.
You think he's going to lose?
He's going to lose. He's going up against...
He's going against Daniel.
Yeah.
Daniel and Max right now, I think, are fighting. One of them I feel like might lose some air at some point, but Daniel and Max are those
right
two.
Now, they're the Mandingos of the league.
Those are the two teams that are floating around that top four.
Because they are holding everybody right now.
Yeah. All right. So then, speaking of Max, he's going against Ivan, who we all like to talk about here. So Max, who I don't even need a name, but let's just for funsies, he's got Juju Smith Jr. He's got
Juju Smith-Schuster, fam.
He's got Choo-Choo Smith Jr. He's got Mike Evans. He's got Mike Thomas, Evan Ingram, Chris Thomas, David Johnson. Like, David Johnson hasn't even shown up yet. Imagine when David Johnson
is still hurting on Mike's bench right now. That's where he's at. So, Mr. O's bench.
And so, he's going against Patrick Mahomes, which has been a lights-out machine.
Mahomes still puts up a big game this week, though. Don't get it twisted.
Kareem Hunt. Dalvin Cook, who I feel like hasn't recovered since the ACL. And I have Dalvin Cook in another league, so it kind of hurts. And then he has Josh Gordon in the flex. How do you feel about Ivan having Josh Gordon start this week?
Again, high risk, high reward. But hey, you know what? Go big or go home. So, you know what? Kudos to Ivan for just going all out.
A player that I would consider maybe putting in that flex spot who you have on the bench, you have Marlon Mack. I think that Colts offense is a lot better than people think it is. The O-line is trash, but I think Marlon Mack catches a couple balls outside the backfield. And yeah, I would be a little worried starting Josh Gordon this week, but you're also going against Mack, so I think you might have to take a risk. Let's go the commish, who also...
Well, who wins this matchup?
I think Max against Ivan.
Max wins, okay. I agree, I think Max
the
takes it
commish
as well.
versus Kellen. Right,
man, I wanted to have some sort of rebuttal on why the commissioner isn't going to win, but
he's going to get Lindsey this week. I believe he's going to get Lindsey. I know, just in case I don't know how trades work, Lindsey should be on the roster by Sunday, right?
Right.
So, Lindsey plus Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yeah, I don't see anybody on Bender like Beckham that's going to, unless...
Besides Odell...
Yeah.
I don't see anybody else having monster games. With
a team with someone like Matthew Stafford as your starting quarterback who had that hellacious week one, that's maybe Kellen's the one who should have picked up Fitzpatrick. Like, I'll try to say Fitzpatrick and Magic in the same word. He's the one who probably should have picked up Fitzmagic, but that is what it is. All right, then we're going to Steven Galindo versus Caesar, Todd's plan versus Run CMC.
On paper, Caesar has me beat, but I think if Rogers can hobble his way to a good game and Alex Collins finally shows up, I think I can take him. And that's if everybody just has an okay day. Todd Gurley's definitely going to put up his points. Last week he had 2 1-yard runs for touchdowns. So, when shit like that happens, it's going to be a bad day for your opponent. So, I'm hoping Todd Gurley has a pedestrian day. I don't think Crowell steps up. T.Y. Hilton's a hit or miss, especially against a tough Philadelphia defense away. Demaryius Thomas hasn't really done anything. I'm hoping Aaron Rodgers does not throw to Randall Cobb, but that like the commissioner said, that's what's going to be the turning point, is if Aaron Rodgers is throwing touchdowns to Cobb.
So the matchup I like to see here is basically it's the Chargers versus Rams game. You have Melvin Gordon versus Todd Gurley, and then you also have the Chargers defense versus the Rams defense.
Honestly, I don't think I'm going to keep the Chargers defense.
Okay, well,
because the Rams are probably the best offense in the NFC, maybe the NFL, and it just doesn't seem like the right play.
So, as of right now, Chargers defense is there, which I think the Rams will put some points up. But I expect the Chargers to put points up against the Rams defense, and the Rams defense looks pretty good after week 1 and 2. And I think Melvin Gordon's going to put up some points. I think Todd Gurley's going to put up some points. Right now, if I had to put a bet on it, I would probably go Caesar's team.
I'm not going to go Caesar's team because I'm playing Caesar. So
yeah. So right now, I'm going to go Caesar.
How about, real quick, Brian, how about the Battle of L.A.?
Yeah.
Who wins?
The Rams.
The Rams, okay.
I'm confident. The matchup I'm more concerned about is Thursday night against the Vikings as a Rams fan.
The Vikings look pretty good.
So, now I believe that's every matchup except for me versus Mike O. And I was really hoping Mike O was going to be on this podcast because he said he wanted to be. And I thought we were going to be able to talk about our matchup. But I guess not.
Things change as an adult, so.
Yeah, so.
Really fast.
I'm confident going into this. Now, every week, I feel like my team has matchup. And I think the matchups this week are in my favor. Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings defense are playing against Buffalo. Zeke is going against Seattle. Jordan Howard against Arizona. Royce Freeman against Baltimore is But Lamar Miller versus the Giants. These are matchups that I feel like are. And Will Fuller versus the Giants. These are all matchups I feel like that are in my favor. And especially, I think, the Vikings defense versus the Buffalo Bills offense. I feel like this week I'm going to get some of these defensive points back that I didn't get last week when Minnesota had to go against the Packers. Matchups that I'm concerned about, I think Tevin Coleman is going to do good. I think Phil Rivers is going to put up at least 15+. I expect Devontae Adams to put up some points. But the thing is, I'm not too concerned about the Cowboys defense. I'm not. I think Ebrams actually going to become the best tight end for the Colts. So as long as I think there's always going to be that one Rams receiver that lights up, and hopefully it's not Cooks this week.
Hopefully it's not Cooks and it's Woods, because then that would help me.
So yeah, I think Saquon Barkley's going to give him some points, but I like my matchups, so I'm going to go with me.
I'm going to have to also take Brian. No bias, but Brian does have the stronger looking team on paper, and so far besides Freeman, everybody's been performing pretty well for you. So, Mr. O, I'm hoping that you pick up a win, but I don't see it happening against Brian.
Yeah, I really need. It's weird too, because looking back to your matchup with Caesar, I'm kind of hoping you win, so it brings Caesar back to 2-1. But
the thing about Caesar's team is only the first 3 people were chosen by Caesar, and then I would say picks 4 to 16 were probably was God himself sending him picks. Wink, wink. You know who you are, but you know what? Brothers stick together in this league, and
there is those matchups like Mike O and Steven O kind of even though they were sitting away from each other, they were communicating. Me and you communicate. Like, if Blex didn't show up eating McDonald's and showed up on time, he probably could have sat next to us, and we would have kept him from drafting C.J. Anderson.
We could have at least given him a couple suggestions.
Yeah, we do that.
We don't pick for you, but we throw out 2 or 3 names, and you make the choice.
He probably wouldn't have, if he was next to us and we heard the word CJ, we wouldn't have just shut him down real quick and said that's not who you're gonna pick. If you pick anybody else right now on your list, that's better.
Seriously.
So, yeah, we're now gonna start figuring out who's the bottom half, who's the top half in the league.
We're not that far apart from each other yet, so if you haven't won a game yet, don't feel bad. If you're 1-1, don't feel bad.
It's all about survive and advance. Technically, all you need is that 8th spot in the playoffs, and then hopefully you can make the magic after that. Because, for example, last season, the commish, I think, started the season off 6-0.
He barely made it in as 8th place, I think.
So it doesn't matter how you start, it's about how you finish. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, you got to get those waiver wire guys. Take a risk. Take somebody who you think might do well. Put them on your bench and then see how it goes. Last season, what was the trade we made? Because I made you pick up, because I was like one of the last ones on the waiver claims. And I made you pick up Juju Smith-Schuster for me.
Yeah, we traded a running back.
Yeah, I gave you a running back. So, yeah, those are things too. You could trade basically a waiver spot in a way if you work out your trades correctly.
Yes, so make it happen. No excuses.
No reason why.
Real quick before we go, because we're hitting our 50-minute limit.
Yeah.
I just want to throw it out there that I think Kellen is the first person to hit the max tax. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, yeah. Okay, I looked at something this week. Wasn't there a player that was supposed to play that didn't play?
No. Oh, well, on his team?
On somebody's team.
No. Well, Devontae Freeman was already ruled out.
For a few days.
For a few days, but then he was ruled out like Thursday or Friday for the game.
Yeah.
And so he was still on Kellen's starting lineup. So I don't know what the commission is going to do. This is going to set a precedent here because we all agreed on this. I believe we voted on it.
Does it have to be an IR? Does the IR logo have to be next to the player's name, or could it be a 0?
Well, what if there's an O
or
for
how
out?
Many days in advance do you need to know the player was out?
So this is.
I would say at least 24.
24 hours.
So because if it's a 10 o'clock game and they let you know 10 a.m. the next day, the day prior,
right,
you would know that's not the player.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to let the commish figure this one out here because. This is gonna.
Because we're not allowed to put things up to a vote.
This is gonna set the example for the future max taxers.
Yeah. Out
there, so.
Like it's not because I remember Blex almost played Fournette.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I texted him saying like, hey, you shouldn't. But if he played Fournette, that would have been okay because I think Fournette that morning was ruled ineligible.
Right, that morning. So, it was a game time decision.
But like I said, if there's 24-hour notice or midweek notice that they're not going to play, then yeah, I believe that should be under the max tax.
Yeah, definitely. You know what, Garage League? Shoot us over your opinion in the group chat.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. You guys are sending great memes. Keep it up.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the group chat.
And we appreciate you listening. You don't have to, but you do.
Definitely appreciate it. Till next time, Garage League.
I'm Brian.
I'm Steven Galindo.
We're out.